Hi, my name is Emily Sketch Haynes, and I'm the Director of Programs at Discover You. And today I'm going to take you through the brainstorming process for a flow application essay. So, the first thing we're going to do is get onto our Discover You student portal and pull up a couple of items. The first thing that I've pulled up is the record, my flow progress page for the specific application that I am doing. And so for this example, it's Texas Governor's School, although this webinar is for any student that is needing to write an essay. Another thing that I have pulled up is located in the Apply for a Flow section on the home page, and then on the tab called Essay Resources. And so this says Writing Your Best Essay for Flow Apps. And today we're going to be looking at a couple of these items as we prepare to brainstorm and then eventually draft and write our flow application essay. So the first thing I want you to kind of take note of is down here in the bottom, it says save in the cloud. And so when you're beginning to work on your essay, you might want to jot things down by hand, but it's also helpful to open an online document. I recommend the Google Doc platform can be really helpful. That allows you to have access across various devices and then also to be able to share it. So I have my cloud file up and running. The second thing that I'm going to do here, it says read the prompt. And so you want to be very focused in what you're writing in your essay, and that can be done by really understanding the prompt. So I actually prefer not just to read the prompt, but to take the prompts, and here are the prompts that are on the application essay for, the application for Texas Governor's School, and actually copy them and paste them into the document that I'm working with. So you'll see here, I have one of the essay prompts and I have another one here. The reason why I'm using two is to kind of show you the different kinds of prompts or the different styles that you might see. So we're going to jump in and we're going to start looking at this prompt in order to help us brainstorm. So it says, of the activities listed above, all right, so this obviously is working with a prior question, and this one is they've asked for what appears to be a resume. And actually, I'm going to do a quick plug here. We have an awesome resume webinar by one of my colleagues, Ms. Castillo, and so definitely check that out if that's something you're being asked to do. And so within the activities, right, that are listed for this application, the prompt is, which do you find the most rewarding? So the first thing that I think about this prompt is, whoa, it's really short. It basically has two parts, right? We have of the activities listed above. So I'm going to think about one of the activities that I do and that I put in my resume. And then it's asking me, which do I find most rewarding? Okay. Now, let's see if I can highlight that. Okay, so really there's two kind of questions. I need to identify the activity, and then I also need to explain why it's rewarding. Okay, now if there is a situation where you're like, most rewarding, what? Like, make sure that you really understand each one of the terms used in the application essay prompt. So I'm going to just look up that rewarding definition just to make sure that I truly understand what's going on. Okay, so it says rewarding. It's an adjective that is providing satisfaction or gratifying. It's pleasing, it's fulfilling, it's enriching. Got it. Okay, which do I kind of get the most benefits from? Okay, so I'm going to go back, right? Maybe I'll even add that get the most benefits from. Awesome. Okay, so that's going to kind of help me think about all of the questions that I need to answer within my essay for this one. Now, I'm going to make sure that I understand how extensive or how long does this essay need to be. So I'm going to go back to the application, and here I see that it says it is recommended that you place your response to the questions on a separate page. Maximum length, right? So the longest it can be is 2 pages for each question. The minimum of 1, I assume that's 1 page for each question. So even though this is a really short prompt, it's asking for 1 to 2 pages of response. Again, I'm adding that to my document so that I'm very clear about what I need to do from here on. So now I can begin to kind of think through the different activities that I do. And so I might just start there with kind of a list. I don't know why it's making this. Okay. So let's see, what are some activities that I might have put in my resume? Student council, might be on the student council, and I might be on the spirit committee, right? I'm doing that. Oh, it's taking me like really far away. Okay, so I took a little pause there to get my document reformatted. It was being very weird, and so that wasn't helpful for me. So now I'm back. So, like I was saying, an activity that I might take part in and have on my resume is student council. Another one might be on the tennis team. Okay. And then another one is that I might have a part-time job, right? So these are examples. Obviously, if I've already done my resume, I have even more, but these are 3 that I think might be a good thing to write about. Okay. So first I'm starting with, okay, what are the different activities that I could maybe write about? From there, right, I'm going to kind of think through each one and why, it might be important. And I'm going to ultimately choose, I think, the student council because, again, it's not just right answering the question, but it's also answering the question in the way that best presents you to the program, right? This is an application. We need to persuade people that you are a good fit. And I believe that for Texas Governor's School, the student council position might show my leadership. And so that's the one that I'm going to choose. Okay. So both answering the prompt kind of truthfully and genuinely, but also presenting yourself and your experience in a way that's going to be attractive to the programs and the people reviewing the applications. Okay, so I have student council, spirit committee. Now I'm going to need to jot down specifics, right, about what the activity is and why it benefits me, right? I'm going to need to have multiple examples of that. So, student council. So I There goes my formatting again. Goodness. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to move this down, hopefully. Okay. All right. Let's see. That works better now. Okay, so I was, and you can do this in bullet points. You can do it anyway. So I was elected to student council. So I had to be elected by my fellow students, right? If you think, oh, okay, words that sound good, get them out now, right? So I was elected to student council. I am one of maybe 5 juniors on the council. Okay. And being on the spirit committee, that means, right? What does the spirit committee do? I help plan pep rallies, spirit weeks, dances, and other community school wide activities that build community. Now, with this list, I could actually also go in and talk about each one of these, right? These are my examples, right? Right? And I'm going to talk about how they build community. Awesome. Okay. But you'll see that I've only still kind of answered that first part. This is the activity, right? And I'm talking about all the different aspects of it. So now I need to also include, right? Why does this benefit me? Or what are the rewards that I get out of, right, this activity? You might go point by point. You might just kind of answer it in another set of bullet points. But I like doing point by point because that keeps me organized, and I like having kind of an organized plan for when I write. So why is it beneficial that I'm elected to student council by my fellow students, right? That made me feel, right? Made me feel valued as a part of my school. Being one of 5 juniors, right, then gave me a chance to speak for and advocate, right? Throw in some of those great words for others that don't have that opportunity. So there's 5 juniors on the council, but there's actually 200 juniors in my school, right? So I'm speaking on behalf of those other 195, basically. Right? And then I can talk about why it's beneficial to help build community, right? And so I believe that it's easy to feel alone or isolated in a big high school. And so I think that the community that is built by, oh, I put prep rallies. Okay. See, no big deal. Pep rallies. Dances and spirit activities helps to connect people and gives them a shared sense of identity, right? So maybe that means student is not just, is, let's see, more than just a person, but is a, is a Mustang. Maybe that's the name of my Mustangs. Is a, is able to be silly and goofy, is able to meet new people, right? All of these things I believe that the spirit committee does. Okay. So that would be how I begin to, brainstorm the ideas that I have. Okay, so most of what I discussed in this example can be used in kind of any essay prompt, but I do want to take a look at one that's maybe a little bit more involved, a little more academic, has different parts, right, to be able to really read and understand the prompt. So this one says, select one major issue acted upon by either the President, Congress, or the Supreme Court within the past year and discuss why you agree or disagree with the decision that was made. Okay, so, and then it says your answer will not be evaluated on the stand you take, but on how well you explain the issue and how clearly you justify your opinion. So there's a lot to unpack here, and I'm actually going to start at the end because it tells us exactly what to do within this essay, right? We have to explain the issue. Okay, which means we're going to have to choose an issue, right? Well, let's see. So we're going to select one, right? It's going to be another thing we do. We're going to justify our opinion, right? Justify or prove, right? I'm going to do prove so that I remember kind of what that means. Okay. My opinion is whether I agree or disagree with the decision. Okay. Great. And this decision has to be made by one of these three entities. Okay. So I'm going to think about, you can kind of attack this in two different ways or many different ways. You could start with just kind of major government decisions made in the last year. There's a lot, right? When you think about that. Or, right, you can decide, okay, I'm actually going to start with the person or the entity making the decision. So I'm going to select either the president, Congress, or the Supreme Court. Well, I think that you can't go wrong with any of those. They've all made very important decisions in the last year, but I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to select, right, or I'm going to research the president's, right, recent decisions. Okay, so you can kind of take a look at it in a different ways. So, right, who made the decision? What was the decision? Right. How maybe was it decided, or what was kind of the reasoning behind it? How or why did they make that decision? And then right, then you can look at, my opinion, and then how or why I think that, right? So that might be how I start going through this, but you see that there's a lot more that you kind of have to unpack and make sure that you're answering. when you do maybe a little bit do this prompt as opposed to this one to kind of get a different take on that. Okay, so that's where we're at in terms of brainstorming. You'll see another webinar from me talking about drafting and getting feedback. Okay, thanks.